All right, here is the video and audio of the Chapter 1 practice test, okay? So this is your answer key. Now remember, you should have submitted your Chapter 1 practice test already, so I can see how you did prior to seeing the answer key. And then you'll make corrections in a different color and resubmit. Now the test will be around 50 points. And this is a great way to study for the actual test. Okay, so number 1, Stephen swam n fewer laps than his friend Kristen, who swam 8 laps. Write an expression for the number of laps Stephen swam. So since Stephen swam n fewer, okay, his friend Kristen swam 8 and he swam n fewer. So we're going to do 8 minus n. And that will give the laps that Stephen swam. All right. Write 2 verbal expressions for this fraction. I can call that as, I can type it in as k divided by 10. That's one way I can verbally describe that. Or I can say k split evenly into 10 groups. All right, number 3, evaluate P plus Q, for P is 1.4 and Q is 0.1. So we're going to use substitution and plug in 1.4 for P plus 0.1. And when you add that, you should get 1.5 over on the line, 1.5. Number 4, add or subtract. Now remember our addition and subtraction rules. When we are subtracting a negative, we can turn them both to plus signs. So 17 plus 17 equals what? Okay, you can use your calculator. 17 plus 17 equals 34. Number 5, 5.1 minus 7.5. Now by subtracting, we can actually add the opposite and have 5.1 plus negative 7.5. And if we use our calculator, we should get negative 2.4. Or you could put it right into the calculator as 5.1 minus 7.5. But we should get negative 2.4 either way. Number 6, we have a fraction divided by another fraction. So do you remember KSF? Remember keep, switch, and flip. So we keep the first fraction, switch the division to multiplication, and flip the second fraction, the reciprocal. And we'll go ahead and now multiply straight across. We should have 12 over 15. And then we always have to think, can we divide and reduce the fraction? And we can divide a 3 out and get 4 over 5. So our final answer is 4 divided by 5, or 4/5. All right, multiply or divide. We can plug this straight into the calculator and have 14 times, remember there's multiplication there. If you want to, put it in there. 14 times negative 1/2 in the calculator, that is negative 7. Hopefully you did well on the first page. Let's go ahead and continue to the second page. Number 8 is negative 20 divided by negative 2. If you plug that into the calculator, you should get, that line's for the other one, positive 10. And number 9, xy, for x equals 0 and y equals 1. Make sure if you are confused, there's actually a multiplication symbol in there. So we have 0 times 1. and that equals 0. Anything times 0 is 0. Number 10, John bikes 25 miles an hour for a 3.5-hour trip. So how many miles does he travel? Well, if he's going 25 miles an hour and he's biking for 3.5 hours, we can use our calculator and multiply that. Hopefully you got 87.5, and we have to add a label on that, 87.5 miles. So if John is biking for 3.5 hours, he's going to bike 87.5 miles. All right, now number 11, okay? When dealing with exponents, remember this exponent tells us how many times the base is multiplied. So if we were to expand this, it would really be -2 times -2 times -2. Or we can put this all in the calculator, but you must include the parentheses. So you parentheses -2 end parentheses caret 3 and then equals. And you should get -8. Okay. Number 12, 5 squared. Okay. So 5 squared in the calculator, you should get 25. Number 13, minus, right? So it really means there's a -1 times the square root of 144. You know how to put this in the calculator. It'll be -1 times 12, which is -12. All right, number 14, a rectangular garden has a length of 4x plus 2 and the width of x plus 1. What is the perimeter? The perimeter is the distance around the rectangle. So if I draw a picture, it's always a good idea to draw a picture. We have a length of 4x plus 2, and we have a width of x plus 1. Now I'll label all my sides. Okay? And remember, the distance around, we're going to walk the entire way around, which means we need to add all of the sides. So I have 4x plus 2, which is this one, plus x plus 1, which was this one, plus 4x plus 2, plus x plus 1. Okay, so I have all 4 of my sides. Now I'm going to find my like terms. Remember, like terms have the same variable raised to the same power. So let's find my x terms first. If it helps, you can put a 1 in front of this x. So you know you're going to be adding 4 plus 1. So 4x plus 1x is 5x. Plus 4x is 9x, plus 1x is 10x. Then you're going to add the other like terms. So 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1. So 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1 gets you 6. So 10x plus 6 units is the perimeter of that rectangle, or the rectangular garden. Number 15, a square garden. A square garden, remember, all the sides have the same length. The square garden has an area of 64 square feet, okay? Using the formula A equals S squared, find the area of the table square garden. Draw a picture. Okay, so we have A equals S squared. You have to ask yourself, well, what information is given in the problem? The area is given. So 64 equals S squared. But that doesn't help me to find, I don't need to find the area, I want to find the side length. So the side length, I'm going to take the square root of 64. And S equals 8 feet. That's my answer. Okay. And number 16, a coffee table is shaped like a square and has a side length of 6 feet. Using the formula A equals S squared, find the area. So A equals S squared. Well, I know that 6 is my side length, so A equals 6 squared. When you put that in the calculator, the area is 36 feet squared. All right, so that's numbers 1 through 16. Please click on the other video for the remaining part of this practice test.